Hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker, and today we are riding a 2017 Triumph Street Triple 765, and there it is. This bike is on loan from Freeman Motorcycles in Clonmel again for me. I have already been riding it. This intro is shot after I rode it a bit. You'll know that when you see the video anyway, and I'm very excited to ride it, so can't wait. Couple of little bits before we get out on the road. It does have Michelin Road 5s front and back. They look absolutely brand new, so that's also important for the test. It has a stock exhaust system, important for the test, and yeah, it's pretty much stock. So there you go. This is on sale in Freeman Motorcycles in Clonmel for €9,750, I think, something like that. But I know there's a lot of interest in it already before I even make this video. So it may be gone by the time you see this. If it is and you want one, just get in contact with them and I'm sure they can source you one. But yeah, without further ado, let's get on the road. Okay, we are out on the road. And I mean, this is actually a really nice bike. So like I said in the intro, you know, I've already done a bit of riding around on this bike. I like to get used to them before I actually take them anywhere at all, because I'm not silly. And this one it was weird because of its seating position and how it is. It did take me a couple of, you know, minutes to get used to. Usually I'm a bit quicker getting used to bikes, but this one, you know, honestly, I was pretty comfortable with it fairly quickly, but not as quickly as usual, just because it's very sharp and it's very light. So look, let's jump right into it. For a larger person, I am 6'7" and I weigh around about 126 kg at the minute. I'm a bit lighter this morning than last time you would have talked to me, which equates to around about 200. I'm actually 200, not about. I'm 200 centimeters tall on the button, and I weigh, I don't know, like 20 odd stone or something like that. 270, 80 pounds, one of those. Now, this bike is actually really comfortable, and I'll be honest, I came out here looking at this when I was looking up the specs and all that, like I usually do, and I didn't have a huge amount of confidence that it was going to be super comfy, just because of its size and, you know, what it's really built for. But oh my god, this thing is a live wire as well, which we'll get to later. But on the comfort part, like the bars, they just got, look, all I'm going to say is the rider triangle, because I've obviously watched a lot of reviews on this one myself. It's a bike I really like, and I have to say, you know, usually the people I'd be watching are a hell of a lot smaller than me, and they commented on how comfortable it was. So I mean, they got this right, didn't they? And I will say, you know, the bars, would I like them for a taller person? Maybe I get them slightly, ever so slightly higher up, just so you're not as leaning onto them as much when you're braking. But the seat and the angle of the seat are actually pretty good. I'm not going to say they're amazing, because look, like it is a small sporty bike, but like you can probably see on the 360 cam now, the amount of jolting I was getting there from the road, and genuinely I wasn't really feeling it that much. Now, over time, if I had, you know, 2 days to take this bike out, which obviously I'd love, like look at the jolts here, okay? So this is really bouncy, really jolty. The suspension, number one, it just stays composed, but the main thing is it keeps your butt comfortable. So and even when you're pulling hard enough on this, now obviously look, this isn't my bike, so I'm not going to go crazy hard on it, but even when you're pulling pretty hard on it and accelerating enough, it stays composed as well. It doesn't ever get uncomfortable, and even the bigger hits, the jolts, I'm riding through them fine. I feel them, but they're certainly not bad. Did that fall down? That did fall down. Oh no. What else though? The switchgear, I actually, out of a lot of bikes I've ridden recently, I think this switchgear is my favorite. So like the indicators, really easy to reach, really tactile. This ticky button for all your modes and stuff, and so you can look down here as well. Really easy to use. The mode button, you click it again to change mode, and then you click your you have to close your throttle apparently to do it. So there we go. Conditions not met. Okay, it doesn't want me to do it. Anyway, I'm not bothered about changing that yet. Your lights, so you got your lights there, and you got your normal lights are on now, and then you can also have your daytime running lights on, which, you know, I'm going to leave on for now. And then headlights are passing flasher, and I'm not sure how you actually put on the full lights. I must check that one. That's not fully intuitive. But the bars, everything about the bars comfort-wise, I'm not going to go on about it too much, is really, really nice. I really like the clutch, and they are the stock Brembos and stuff. But the clutch and the brakes levers are absolutely lovely. And the pegs, you know, for a seat height of, what is it, 825 millimeters, it's just really, really nice. And even, you know, when you're braking, because of that divot in the tank, it just gives you confidence, because you can really clamp your legs into the tank when you're braking and around corners and stuff, and it just gives you a lot of confidence on the bike, which is really nice. It's just like, it's just really, really, really nice. Now, like I said, is it going to be the most comfortable for the big person? No. But the thing is, because you're so up in the air, and you know, like, there's a lot of people who would agree with me on this that I've talked in the past. Because I'm kind of up out of the way, I would rather be up here than behind like a screen that is designed for a smaller person. Yes, if you're smaller, is this fly screen going to probably direct air right into your face? Probably. But for me, because I'm basically riding, it may as well be fully naked for me. It's keeping the air off. Like, if I put my hand here, I'm not really feeling much there, so it's keeping the air off my chest, which is all I really want from a bike like this anyway, you know what I mean? I don't think anyone buys one of these with the hopes of grand touring on it. Or maybe they do, who knows? But yeah, so that's kind of the ergonomics. The pegs are really comfortable, the shifter lever and the rear brake lever, very comfortable. All of the handlebar stuff is very comfortable. Like I said, could that handlebar maybe be a touch taller if you're a bigger guy? Yeah, I think so. Or even like rolled forward a bit or something. My arms are kind of just a little bit too far back, but I have plenty of control over the bike. The bars feel good, like, you know what I mean? I'm literally nitpicking. But yeah, overall, even for a bigger person, really not much I can knock this bike for. It's very, very comfy. Like I said, only the couple of things would be that sliding onto the tank. It's definitely hitting me in the nuts a little bit, and that's it really. Yeah, I think this is really comfy even for a bigger human. So there you go. So just before I start on power and whatnot, is that facing okay? I think it is. Like I said, right, those rear sets are really comfy. You have lots of real estate to actually move your foot around here as well. There's nothing in front of your leg, there's nothing behind your leg, which is important. You might notice you often hit your shin off things. Doesn't happen in this case. Doesn't happen in this case. You know, round this side again, you don't hit your leg off anything. It's just, I have to say, it's a really nice bike. It's a really, really nice bike, and like I said, I like to find things that are wrong, but I can't. Like this seat, even from my, whoa, look at that view. Can you see that? That is gorgeous. Even for my larger buttocks, this fits really nice. And this little piece back here, which you might think you'll ride back onto, I actually haven't. In riding around for as long as I have been, this has not bothered me. The only thing is you do kind of ride up onto the tank a bit. So if you're not overly delighted about sometimes smushing your bits into a tank, or even if you don't have bits down there, if you just aren't comfortable with that sensation, maybe that would bother you. But for me, I mean, you have plenty of purchase on those pegs just to slide yourself back, so not a big deal. This is the best part for me. These contoured bits on the tank, even for a bigger person like myself, they work perfectly. They do exactly what they're supposed to do. Your legs just sit here, and when under hard braking particularly, you really get to use this piece, which is fantastic. Honestly, I really, really like that. So, yes, I like. So this bike has 121 horsepower at 11,700 RPM, which is quite high up the rev range, and it has 77 Newton meters of torque at 10,800 RPM in the rev range. Now, that's peak, and I'll put the conversions up on the screen now. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us it is quite a peaky motorcycle. So it is all of its power and torque lives quite high up the rev range, which you do notice so far. But we'll talk more about it out in the road. But just to get it in there, you know, the performance is, this is a triple. This is the 765. This is the precursor of the engine that went on to be used in the MotoGP 765. So it's you know what I mean? That'll tell you how good this engine is. It sounds phenomenal, and it is powered 6-speed chain drive, and it does have an up quick shifter. Reliability on these, from a power and performance and torque and all that crack, so far what I've heard is quite good. But look, we'll talk about it more when we're out on the road. The important numbers are 121 brake horsepower at 11,700 RPM and 77 Newton meters torque at 10,800. So it is not very torquey low down the rev range, which just bear in mind for when we're out here on the road talking, because I'm definitely going to bring that up. And yeah, that is power and torque. Let's go chat about it. So I've told you all the numbers of the power, but how does it feel? Absolutely insane. Like those numbers I gave you earlier, let's just remember this bike weighs nothing. And it is sharp on acceleration in a straight line. Like it really feels good. Also when you're on these roads, you know, also feels good. The one thing that I really like about it is, you know, it is a triple, and you know, it feels different to a lot of engines that I have obviously used. I don't often ride triples. This one feels great. But it's that sound! Oh! I love that sound. Absolutely love that sound. And what I will say is, you know, the only thing I can knock this on is its torque. I mean, it's what I would consider a rider's bike. If you want to go fast on this, you really have to use your gears. You don't have much down low where I am right now. The pickup is good, but it doesn't really get going. Like right there, there's kind of nothing, you know what I mean? Not nothing, it's just low, but if we kick it down, you just keep it up around 8,000 revs. So I'm in second gear right now. Like then it has absolutely loads of go. And really and truly, like on these type of roads, you don't need any more than 3 gears then, you know. But yeah, so that's the only thing I'll say, is the power feels absolutely fantastic. At no point does it feel like too much power. It always feels like a nice usable amount, particularly on these type of roads, my favorite roads. Oh, it just sounds so good. Hard on the brakes, but like for these type of corners, I mean, I'm really being harsh, because even there I was down at 4,000 RPM in second gear, and it still pulls out of a corner like that. So it's definitely, yeah, I'm probably just being harsh, to be honest. It still feels really good, and you know, you know this is a powerful machine in a really light bike. Like, to put it into perspective, you know, my Gixxer 750 has slightly more power than this and slightly more torque than this, but weighs like 20 kilos more than this, which is a lot. And also you don't feel the speed as much because you're down lower. Like this bike, you do feel the speed on it as well, which is nice. And it also, I pretty much always wants to lift that front wheel. Like, this bike is a hooligan bike, make no mistake about it. But when you blip your downshifts, it sounds fantastic. And I have heard someone complain before, or seen someone complain in a forum, I think, about the front brakes squeaking, but they're monoblock performance calipers. I mean, race cars squeak, but like that downshift. And you can really hang out of this thing into the corner. So yeah, it's built for going. And just bearing in mind now all these corners I'm hitting for brakes and suspension as well, because I'm riding this hard enough for a bike that isn't mine, and a bike that I'm only just after getting acquainted with today. I mean, yeah, definitely, I just tried that there. So definitely the power down low, torque down low, it's better when you hold the revs up, definitely. We'll hang out of it. Feels good in that corner, this corner. Over the bump. Another corner coming up, little bits of gravel on the road, brake, look. In, around, dodge it. Yeah, that's good. And braking, hard on the brakes. It's just so refined. This thing is nice. Oh, I like this bike. So all I'll say is the kind of a finish up on power and torque is it has plenty of power for this frame, this build. It's what I would call the perfect amount, because it's more than I'm willing to use, which means there's some for me to grow into there. And I would say this would be an absolute, so much fun on the track. Like, you can just sling it. How do you like all this teleporting around? How do you? Oh, people are looking at me. I hate it. I'm trying this on this one because I want to show people better than just being on the road. So for braking and suspension, this has words are hard. It has twin Brembo 4-pot calipers up front. They are monoblock radial calipers, and I'll tell you right now they're really good, but we'll talk more about that on the road. This front suspension is twin 41mm Showa forks. They are adjustable for preload, rebound and compression. So I mean, pretty much all you want. They're very good on the road as well. The rear is a Öhlins monoshock with a piggyback reservoir, so again, really good bloody shock. And then the rear caliper is a single piston Brembo sliding caliper, which, I mean, it's a rear caliper. People don't use it as much, but I will tell you, for holding yourself up in traffic and stuff, it's actually quite good. Not gonna anything to write home about, but it is good. So it's quite nice. To be honest, just before we jump onto the road and do all the road tests, I will say the suspension and braking on this bike I really like. The whole frame geometry and everything else combined with the suspension makes it a very comfortable, very agile ride, which is lovely. And the suspension and the brakes package just works really well, and it is really light. This bike's only like 170 kilos wet. This thing weighs nothing. I'm nearly as heavy as this bike, which is actually really depressing. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Yeah, anyway, back to the road. Now, on to brakes and suspension. So you've already seen me use the brakes a few times, and I would say they're fantastic. So we're at 100 here, 100, and hard brakes. Hard, gear down, hard. I mean, the brakes are bloody butter. They're really nice. But we'll talk through them a little bit. So the feel off them is excellent, and I mean, you've seen me riding in the power and torque section, so I'll do a couple of brake tests, but they feel bloody fantastic. That's the biggest thing for me, is the feel. The feedback off brakes is very important. It's one thing that really does bother me around about my CBF, is just the feel is kind of This bike has it nailed. If I could put these brakes on all of my bikes, I would be a very, very happy Michael, because they're that nice. They look great, which is also important. You got these really nice reservoirs on this really nice master cylinder. That master cylinder is a work of beauty. Yeah, I don't really have anything else. Like the rear brake, if you're holding yourself in traffic, that's me doing that now. So we'll only use rear brake. So we're just, in traffic, it's fine. The rear brake's never going to do anything else for you other than a bit of traffic, I don't think. There's nothing, it's nothing to write home about. It's a standard rear brake. I wouldn't have even trusted it to fully stop me there. The suspension Oh, look at that view. I love it down here. Thank you, Freeman Motorcycles, for letting me ride bikes around this absolutely stunning piece of country, because it wouldn't have happened otherwise. I probably wouldn't have come down here at any point. Really, I would have eventually found my way here. But anyway, I'm getting lost. So the suspension, it's definitely on the firmer side. Obviously, with the adjustability, you can get it set up for yourself, which I would recommend, to be honest, because like this one obviously isn't set up for me. It's not my bike. Ooh, so it's a little bit. It could probably do with a little bit of tightening up, I'd say, for the bigger gentleman. But like on roads like this is where the suspension and the handling just they really show what they're made of. You know what I mean? This is absolutely. My gosh, it just handles so well. It just handles so well. And you know, it absorbs bumps enough. Like, those bumps are really hefty. And at no point did I get a jar up my back or anything, which is my least favorite thing. You know, I might sound like I'm being hit a bit, but honestly, it's not hurting me, which is nice. And we'll just do another brake test. Brake test on a bumpier road here, so we'll get up to 100 and brake. Hard brake. Hard. And even like on that really bad ratty surface, they're really good. I'm really impressed with this bike as a package so far overall, and I've had my eye on them for a long time. It's a bike I would actually like to buy myself eventually as a fun bike. I don't think it'd be something I'd buy for a daily, although to be honest, the seat's working out so nice. It wouldn't really bother me that much. The seat's quite tasty. But like all around these corners, the suspension, you can just trust it. Even fully, you know, well, not fully leaned over, even leaned over a little bit on these bumpier roads, it holds you steady. It holds you in the place that you know you can trust it. You know what I mean? You can trust the bike to hold you, which is very bloody important. So that's brakes and handling. Oh wow, whew, that's a good view. Just to kind of recap over everything, right? You got your dual 4-piston Brembo monoblock calipers on the front, driven by this lovely Brembo master cylinder, and these really fancy reservoirs for your fluid. And they work really bloody well. These brakes are, I would say, perfect for this bike. You know, if you put them on a smaller bike, they might be a bit too firm. If you put them on a bigger bike, they might not work so well. But on this bike, for this application, these brakes are perfectly balanced. I get just one more time. And well, yeah, we're coming up to a turn here, so brake hard. I'm still not getting the ABS on, you know what I mean? And I mean, I'm braking hard there. Still no ABS. So that'll tell you, you know, that these brakes have more to give than I'm willing to let them, and that's because I'm a big old chicken. But there is definitely something left in the tank for these brakes, which is nice, you know what I mean? And the suspension, look, like I said, you got the full adjustability on the front, you got the adjustability on your rear shock. It's an Öhlins shock with the piggyback. There's really not a whole pile else you could possibly want from a stock setup. And the fact that, you know, I've just jumped on this, I haven't played with any settings, and the stock settings have just suited me absolutely fine. It really says a lot. So the aesthetics, this bike is gorgeous. There's no other way to put it. This bike is absolutely stunning. I really love, in particular, the front end, and it's something that I have been unsure about in the past, but seeing it in the flesh and using it for a bit, those headlights are a work of art. The fly screen fits really well with the bike. The whole way back, like I talked about them earlier, these contoured tank lines, not only are they functional, they look fantastic. The paint on the bike looks fantastic. The upside down forks look fantastic. And probably the most important thing, because this is cool, like this looks nice and all, it's fine, and it is comfortable when you're on the bike, but when you're sitting on the bike, the view you have is really something else. Like, you know, this screen is really good. I love when it starts up, it shows you the Triumph symbol and shows you, you know, what you're doing. You got all your buttons, you got your home screen. Like, I've shown all this already, I know, but it's just everything about it's just so butter smooth. One second, it'll focus there. Like, it's just, everything is just so nice. And even, you know, the actual buttons themselves look quite well. Nice little touch here on the fuel cap. You know, you got the Triumph symbol. You got this really nice Triumph here. You got your RS. You got your Street Triple. It's really, really gorgeous. There's not much else I can say about it. I think the whole package, engine-wise, stance-wise, frame, everything is gorgeous. Like, honestly, there's not much I can take away from this bike. The finish on the frame is fantastic. The forks are beautiful. The screen is beautiful. Again, like, I do prefer analog displays, but you can't deny. Like, I prefer analog, but I can't deny the TFT displays are pretty, and that's a really pretty one. But for me, it's the whole package. Like, the headlights on this, they're odd, they're different, but they're beautiful. The tank is beautiful. Even the way the engine sits in the bike is beautiful. It's just a really good looking bike. So for me, I don't think there's anything I don't like about it looks wise. And, you know, my own CBF and stuff, I've picked out stuff. I think the Gixxer's perfect as well. But yeah, this one, Triumph nailed it. Triumph nailed it looks wise. It looks great. The finish, the paint is unbelievable. Like, it doesn't do it justice until you're up close, and it's really tactile as well. So yeah, well done, Triumph. Absolutely beautiful bike. You did good. And then while we are sitting here, just to talk through the extras, so you do have your power modes. You click this M button here and you can cycle through road, slightly sportier road, racetrack, full race is what I assume that is, and rain. Now, I'm pretty certain these two, the race one and like Mr. Helmet Stigman, they're configurable. Rain, road, and slightly sportier mode, I don't think are. I'm going to leave it in road for now. We'll go road. To be honest, this bike is really fast, and it's not mine. So then you can also cycle through with this little left toggle here, which is actually really nice. You can cycle through your different contrasts, your styles. It has a lap timer, coolant temperature, and your trip, which is, it's really, really, I like it, to be honest. Then over on your right hand here, there's a little home button. If you hit that, you get into all the rest of your modes. A flick on this toggle here, and you get to go through your riding mode. So you can also select them from here. So you have rider, rain, road, sport, track. Rider being the helmet dude who you can set up yourself. Bike setup, you have indicators, automatic or manual, ABS, enabled or disabled, traction control, enabled or disabled. And the beautiful thing about this one is ABS, most bikes, you can only turn off the rear. On this one, you can actually turn off front and rear, which is really, really cool, to be honest. I'm really impressed with that bit, because I mean, it's something that a lot of people like to do, is have full control over their bike, and often we're not given it. Trip setup, again, your trip 1 reset, trip 2 setup. Display, your team, your brightnesses, your visible tray, your units, your clock and your date, all contained in there. A lap timer, you know, start session or in review. So really and truly, and then just hit home to go away. There is a shit ton on that screen. And again, as I always say, I prefer analog displays. I just punched my GoPro again. But this TFT display, which I believe took Triumph a couple of years to design, or they spent a long time on it anyway, is absolutely stunning. It's really, really nice. Out here in what is a bright day, look at that view again. It just does the business, doesn't it? Like that's a really nice display. Over here you got your daylight lights. So that's your daytime running lights, and those are your normal lights. And it also has heated grips, which show up on your dash as being really hot, slightly hot, or off. So yeah, all in all, the extras on it are lovely. What else? You have your up quick shifter, and that's about it. I don't think there's anything else fancy that comes with it, but really and truly, that's all you could possibly want. Cost on this one, this is a 2017 for sale in Freeman Motorcycles, like I already mentioned. You'd want to act really quickly, because by the time this video comes out, it'll probably be sold. I know there was a couple of people interested in it. As far as I know, it's not sold yet. Well, obviously, because I have it. But yeah, it might be sold by the time this video comes out. I believe it's up for 9,750. If this one is sold, you can always give Freeman Motorcycles a shout, and I'm sure they'll source you another. And that's the cost. So yeah, anyway, back to the road sections of these bits. One of the extras on this obviously is the modes, which is important. And I'll be honest, I tried them earlier. Rain, I'm not even going to put rain on the test. Look, rain works, but you're only going to use it in rain. You know what I mean? It does deaden the bike down the way it's supposed to. It basically, rain does its job, but I don't really have much interest in it. But sportier road. Oh yeah, there is a difference there. I tried this earlier. I tried the sportier road setting earlier, and honestly, I don't like using it because it's not my bike, and it definitely encourages you to push on. It's like that devil in your ear. It's like, yeah, go for it. So as an extra, it's one of those bold ones. It's one of those ones that you're like, do I really want that on my bike? Oh, like, it's just the throttle is that little bit sharper, and the front wheel wants to come up that little bit more when you, like, right there, that front wheel wants to come up there, you know what I mean? So I do not want it to at all. But like, there's also definitely a better sound out of, oh yeah, there's also a bit of a better sound out of it. That was a big hit, it knocked my camera. And I don't know, I'm not actually sure, does it electronically control anything on the suspension? I'm 99% certain it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't see anything, so. But you know, if you want a function that makes your bike, oh look at this road, that a little bit sportier, then that sportier road setting is for you. Like, it really makes a difference, really makes a difference. You know, these can be picked up for decent money, and they are absolutely worth every penny. This bike is exceptional. So for the cost of it, and when you compare what else is out there, this 765 engine is an absolutely, it's a beautiful engine. I'm like, to say I'm impressed with it is an understatement. I have been wanting to try one of these bikes for a long time, and I can see why they have such a following, because that that engine, honestly, like, it's just, I could listen to it all day. I could ride this bike all day. It handles so well. Like, they're pretty good on fuel. Their Triumphs nowadays are very reliable. I really like it. A bit too much. You see, this is my problem as well, you know. Who's it for? It's for me as well. I like all bikes far too much. I have a problem, and if anyone knows a good counsellor I can talk to maybe stop me wanting to buy every single bike I touch, that'd be great. Okay, so one thing I was if I was bringing this on like Explorers, I don't think I'd enjoy it. It's not an Explorers type bike. For, you know, if you watch my channel, Gorilla Explorers, that is, I often meet roads like this. So to summarize and finish off this video with a church of bike in the background, that's actually what that church is for. It's for bike. To just top it off, this bike overall as a package is really nice. Triumph nailed it. I would buy one of these quite happily. Like, if something was to happen to the Gixxer, or the Gixxer just really got too uncomfortable for me over a longer period of time, I would look at something like this, because it's a displacement that I like. It's a power amount that I like. It's just a really good balance overall. So yeah, I would definitely go for one of these, 100%. But to kind of go through everything, you know, that we've talked about. So ergonomics, it's very comfortable. Even for a bigger fella like myself, carrying a bit of extra weight, it is very comfortable. Obviously I can flat foot it. I think a lot of people could flat foot it. It's not very far off the ground, 825mm seat height, and it really is a small, compact bike. It's not too heavy. It's very easy to actually lift up and kind of move around as well. So not something I think anyone needs to worry about. It's quite easy to maneuver, coming in at only 160, 170 kilos wet. Obviously depending on how much fuel you have in the tank then, because usually you're going to be under that, which is even lighter again. You know, how it handles on the road is comfortable, and also performance wise is excellent, you know what I mean? So from a comfort perspective, the suspension's excellent, except really bumpy roads like you would have seen at the very end. But also just from a performance perspective, obviously that suspension package is fantastic and fully adjustable, which obviously is also great. Power and torque, look, we went through them, unreal. I wouldn't put anything extra on this bike. Like, even if I put a full system on one, if I bought it, which I would, to let that engine really bark, although I might not, because this one can, you know, also be subtle and not get the guards called on you. But yeah, that bark that's there is lovely, actually standard as well. But even if I was to put a full system on it, I don't think I'd want any extra power. Maybe a little bit of extra low down torque, which a full system might give you. You know, and for the ergonomics, maybe slightly taller bars if you're bigger, but really I'm nitpicking. So lower down torque, yeah, that'd be nice. And maybe slightly higher bars, that'd also be nice. And, you know, maybe adjustable rear sets. Triumph, if anyone's listening, I don't know why as stock you don't give adjustable rear sets. It'd make your bike so much of it more available to a lot more people. But these ones actually do fit me, and if they fit me, they probably fit everyone. So there is that too. You know, handling and braking and stuff, unbelievable. Nothing I can even pick out there. The braking is phenomenal. The handling is phenomenal. The bike made me confident in it from the get-go. From the get-go, I was fully confident in this bike. So yeah, 100% excellent. Extras and costs, I think the cost is pretty reasonable for one of these. To be honest, even new, I think they're reasonable for the performance you're getting. And I'm comparing that to other new bikes. Obviously, I don't think the cost of anything is reasonable anymore. But if you compare it to the market and the performance you're getting from this, 100% reasonable cost. Extras, you have lots. Your quick shift, the quick shifter is lovely. The screen is lovely. The one thing I will say is changing the mode is pretty fiddly. I actually got annoying towards the end when I was doing the test ride. So that's one thing I will knock it for, is that mode. It like, if you press it, number one, it's fiddly to try change it. It's, you know, you have to roll off the throttle and pull in the clutch to get it to change mode. But not only that, the timer, when you press the mode button and switch it, you have a really short amount of time to do everything. So you really want to pull over to change the mode, to be honest, which is a bit of a faff. It's a bit of an annoyance, but again, nitpicking. So yeah, like cost, good. And extra, you know, you've lots of extras, and even including these bar end mirrors stock, which are really nice. They function really well, so that's also good. Who's it for? Me, you, anyone who likes a fun bike. The one thing I would say is this bike could bite you because it's so light and because it's so twitchy. Not twitchy, it's not twitchy. Because it's so bitey, it wants to go. It's something that you need to be aware of. So if you're a beginner, this bike could fool you and then get you into trouble. So just be careful on that one. You'd want to be confident enough on bikes, I think, to ride one of these on, because it definitely has the potential and capability to bite you in the ass. So just be careful on that one. But yeah, anyone who enjoys motorcycles, this is a bike I think everyone could enjoy. It sounds good, it feels good, it rides great, doesn't use much fuel. I just wouldn't use it touring. So if you only like touring on a bike, it's probably not for you. And yeah, that's kind of it really. So as always, a big thank you to Freeman Motorcycles for letting me take this out. A big thank you to you for watching. A massive thank you to my patrons who made me be able to get all the cameras I have. Well, not all the cameras, but a lot of the stuff, extra stuff I buy. Large part thanks to my patrons, so thank you all. And yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this review. Let me know if you'd buy one of these. I would buy one of these if that's a question you want to ask. But yeah, any questions on the bike, anything like that, anything you think I've missed, leave it down in the comments. Obviously, it's hard to cram everything I feel into a video and try to keep it reasonably short for people. This was probably a long one, I apologize. But yeah, until next time, thank you again, adios. Outro crew. How do you like the new Church of Bike that I have adopted? It's that one. That is the new Church of Bike. Yay! Bye.